Hi everybody and welcome to TCW Fantasy Wrestling. This is Scott here, your commentator, your host, bringing you all the action of TCW Fantasy Wrestling tonight, live in Atlanta, Georgia at the Peachtree Convention Center. Brought to you TCW Lightning Heat, and let's get to the action, folks. First of all, we got an injury report from Phil Angel. Phil Angel will be back on the 30th of November, facing off against a brand new TCW Fantasy Wrestling superstar. 30th of November, Phil Angel versus this new superstar. More on that at a different time. We got to the first match, which was Blood Rose versus Bangle. And Bangle used the pounce on Blood Rose to get the pin and the win. And, hey, Bangle started out really great. Blood Rose is a phenomenal wrestler. It looks like both of these girls are going to have a great career. Jennifer French faced off against Carrie Omlin today. And Carrie Omlin won the match via a roll-up. Jennifer French was very surprised, and I think this is not the last time you're going to see these two girls feuded out. As you will see them very soon, and you will see them at TCW Party Time November 26th, live here on the Scott Show Network. And TCW Fantasy Wrestling always Thursdays and Sundays, except for WWE pay-per-view Sundays. Just a heads up. Alright, the next match that we had, Bobby Slapjacks against Maniac Mike Smith. Now, Mike Smith is a grizzled veteran. He's been working his butt off trying to get back into great ring shape. Bobby Slapjacks, obviously a contender for a high-class championship, as Bobby Slapjacks wins the match with the slapjack and pins Maniac Mike Smith. This match lasted 17 minutes, no interference whatsoever. Probably a first in TCW Fantasy Wrestling history. Bobby Clark faced off against Gary Shore, and Bobby Clark wins the match via pinfall over Gary Shore. Gary Shore tried to hit that, had him locked in the surfboard. He let go, and Bobby Clark took that advantage and ran with it. And Bobby Clark, your winner. You will see this match again very, very, very soon, as these guys are not too friendly with one another. In one of the most one-sided victories of the night, Mary Firestorm defeated Lisa Slutcake via the powerbomb. And what you thought was going to be a pinfall, it was a 1-2, and then Mary Firestorm picked her up for another powerbomb. And then she went for the pin again, the 1-2. And then she said no, hit another powerbomb, didn't go for a pin, and gave her an outside powerbomb before dragging her almost just unconscious carcass back into the ring for the pin. And then Mary was not done, because Mary picked up Lisa Slutcake and threw her out of the ring and towards the ramp, which... that girl is tough. I mean, folks, she's got the world title in her grasp right now. She's looking at that championship, and it is Mary's to lose for sure. Lisa Slutcake obviously injured. Whether or not she comes back is anybody's guess. As if anybody cares about Lisa anyway. Now, then we had a women's qualifier match, and big problem with that is neither woman got to the ring. Brittany Starbuck and Tammy Stevens were getting ready to fight. Tammy Stevens jumps Brittany Starbuck from the back, and folks, this match never got to the ring, ever. And so no winner was announced. Both girls have been eliminated, because you only get the qualifier once. Both girls are eliminated from the competition, and they do not get to move on in the World Women's Championship match at Party Time. However, we have announced that we will sign this match for a very future event, probably party time. And we're going to let these two women battle it out as only TCW Fantasy Wrestling can do. In a tag team championship qualifier, you had the Crushers defeat Gutron and George Sony. Gutron and George Sony, they won their last match. However, they lost tonight, the tag team qualifier match, to the Crushers. George Sony, I believe, is the only man to have 2 shots at getting into the tag team title tournament. In a hardcore strap match, JC Outlaw whooped and whipped Black Forest as JC Outlaw moves on to the Fatal 4-Way, which we're calling the Fatality 4-Way hardcore match at TCW Party Time for the World Hardcore Championship. So JC Outlaw is in the Fatal 4-Way, defeating Black Forest in the strap match. A women's qualifier match, you had Goddess from Michigan, you had Violet Rose from Minnesota, and then New Hampshire's very own Jennifer Baxter comes in as the third competitor. This match goes 23 minutes in length as no one could get the pinfall until Jennifer Baxter hit the DDT on Violet Rose for the pin and the win. Jennifer Baxter moves on in the women's qualifier match. Goddess and Violet Rose were very surprised. All the women gave their heart and soul into the match, and we will have announcements on Goddess and Violet Rose, their matches coming up soon here at TCW Fantasy Wrestling. In the junior heavyweight qualifying match, Dave Michaels and Garth Diamond went 11 minutes in length. Garth Diamond hit the Diamond Dust on Dave Michaels for the pin and the win. Dave Michaels is out of the junior heavyweight title tournament. Garth Diamond is in. It was a great match, probably one of the best junior heavyweight matches I have seen in years, folks. And then we had our co-main event heavyweight qualifier for the heavyweight title tournament. We had Sunshine, the 400-pound behemoth of Sunshine, against Raphael Jackson, 280 pounds of pure muscle. Raphael Jackson tried to pick up Sunshine early in the match, could not get him off of his feet, had a really hard time with him, but Raphael Jackson does win the match after Sunshine misses the Sunshine Splash and just could not get up. So Raphael Jackson moves on to the heavyweight qualifying tournament, and we will see him upcoming in the next few weeks as we move on to the quarterfinals of the heavyweight title tournament. And then in the main event, we had Draco from Maryland against Illinois' very own Captain Chris Power. And Captain Chris Power wins with the DDT, and Draco was out cold. I think something may have screwed up with Draco's neck. We are very concerned about that. However, we will get more info for you as the day is long. Now, we do have some great matches on Sunday, including the Dream Partners match, Rockstar Ricky Reagan and John Brute Force against Mr. Donald Moneypants and Tiger Mountain. That's the Dream Partners match. I did want to announce right here on this show, we do have our quarterfinals announced already, and they are as follows. For the World Junior Heavyweight Championship, Cookie Lopez versus Kabuki Dragon and Ballistic versus Garth Diamond. That is upcoming this week, or next week, Thursday the 16th, from Salt Lake City Pepsi World Arena. TCW World Tag Team Champion, we have Twin Ports Gold versus Sex and Violence, and the Mass Profits versus Bedlam. In the World Women's Championship match, we have Mary Firestorm, who won her match tonight against Lisa Slutcake and sent Slutcake to the hospital. She will be facing off against tonight's qualifier, Jennifer Baxter, and Misty Storm faces off against the Cold One herself, Christina Cold, in a great match that will happen live Thursday night, Salt Lake City, Utah, Pepsi World Arena, TCW Fantasy Wrestling will also have TCW World Heavyweight Championship quarterfinals as Blood Drinker faces off against the Firefighter and Raphael Jackson in a fatal three-way match. And then you have Blueberry and Martial Law. You'll have all of those events and more next Thursday night, Pepsi World Arena at Salt Lake City, Utah, as TCW Fantasy Wrestling brings you all the action live here on the Scott Show Network, working with the 102550 Homeless Project. So I want to give everybody a shout out. Thank you so much for listening. And if you guys ever want to shout out on the TCW show, give us a heads up. We will give you as many shout outs as possible because we love our fans, the TCW Fantasy Wrestling Universe, or however you want to call it. In fact, why don't you try to name yourself in the comments below? Give me an idea of what you think that we should call our fans, and we will make a vote. So check it out, TCW Fantasy Wrestling Live coming to your area. And we had a great match tonight. We have some awesome quarterfinals coming up. Next week is coming together very nicely, folks, and we're going to have some great matches. So we'll catch you guys here real soon at TCW Fantasy Wrestling.